The yokai mentioned in Part 1 were mostly seen as beings that caused mysterious phenomena in an era when science was still underdeveloped, with a few exceptions. However, some yokai not only brought calamities but also benefited people. Among them, there were those who were both feared and worshipped as deities. For instance, the Tengu mentioned in the previous yokai video falls into this category, and these beings can also be interpreted as yokai in a broader sense. Additionally, animals that served the gods were considered retainers and were believed to possess spiritual powers. These retainers were sometimes revered as gods themselves, and in a broader sense, they could also be called yokai. When a person is possessed by the spirit of a fox or dog, they begin to exhibit all kinds of strange behavior. This could be described as a situation where the person is half transformed into a yokai. Additionally, Japan has long had a tradition of magic and sorcery. Powerful sorcerers, such as onmyoji, were said to have the ability to control yokai called shikigami to carry out their spells. However, when ordinary people without spiritual power performed sorcery, they were believed to harbor a demon within themselves. Even if the spell succeeded, it was said that their subsequent lives would be filled with misfortune. As for onmyoji, we plan to compile the information into a video once I have organized the sources, so if you are interested, please subscribe. Now, I will introduce yokai that are close to gods, animals that are close to yokai, and states of being half yokai in order.
Fujin is the god of wind. In ancient Japan, it was believed that illnesses such as colds and infectious diseases were carried by the wind, as these diseases tended to spread during seasons when the north wind blew. On the other hand, the wind was also revered and feared because it carried rain clouds, bringing beneficial rain for crops.
Fujin.
Raijin is the god of thunder. While lightning could bring harm to people and cause fires, it also brought life-giving rain, making Raijin both a subject of reverence and fear. It was believed that Raijin created thunder by striking drums with drumsticks and sent it down to earth. If lightning struck a tree at a shrine, it was thought that Raijin resided within that tree. Until quite recently, there was a custom where parents would tell their children that if they napped without wearing clothes during summer, Raijin would come and take their belly button, encouraging them to wear clothes. Historically, this belief stemmed from the idea that thunderclouds, carried by Fujin along with wind and colds, brought rain, causing a sudden drop in temperature, which made people more susceptible to infections. At the time, even a cold posed a life-threatening risk, so it was likely an expression of parental care to prevent such illnesses. The previously introduced Fujin and Raijin often work in harmony to bring blessings, which is why they are frequently enshrined together at temples and shrines. For example, foreign tourists visiting Tokyo almost always stop by Sensoji Temple in Asakusa, where you can see Fujin and Raijin on either side of the large lantern. Be sure to check them out. Both are depicted in the form of oni, as they can bring disasters equivalent to those caused by demons when they inflict calamities upon people.
Raijin.
Zashiki means living room. Warashi means a child. Zashiki Warashi is a yokai primarily found in the folklore of Iwate Prefecture. It is said to be a deity that resides in the sitting room or storage areas of a house. Legends describe it as a mischievous being that plays pranks on the household, brings fortune to those who see it, and bestows wealth upon the home it inhabits. Its appearance is said to be invisible to anyone outside the family, and some stories claim that while children can see it, adults cannot.
座敷わらし
In Japan, there is a tradition of hanging dolls made of white cloth or paper on the eaves to wish for clear weather the next day. This custom still persists today as a form of wish-making by children, particularly when the weather forecast predicts rain, and an event like a field trip might be canceled. Hiyoribo is a yokai that governs sunny weather, and it is said that it does not appear on rainy days. According to the explanations of Toriyama Seikien, hanging teru teru bozu, sunshine dolls, and praying for clear skies is considered a way of honoring the spirit of this yokai.
日和棒
A yokai originating from Chinese mythology is described as being 40 to 60 centimeters tall, with an eye on the top of its head, a single arm, and a single leg. It moves as swiftly as the wind, and its appearance is said to bring about severe droughts. Interestingly, it is believed that throwing it into a toilet will cause it to die.
日照り紙
This yokai is depicted wearing a traditional Japanese umbrella with its central frame removed as a hat and holding a lantern. The accompanying description states, the god of rain is called Ushi. The so-called rain boy may be a servant boy in his service. This indicates that the yokai is a servant boy serving Ushi, the Chinese god of rain.
雨降り小僧
Akashita is said to have appeared in rural areas of Tsugaru, Aomori Prefecture to resolve disputes over irrigation water for rice fields. Some believe it to be a god of water or rice paddies. Stories of Akashita appearing in the Tsugaru region have been widely referenced in yokai encyclopedias and books on yokai, even after the Showa period, with many of these accounts based on this particular tale.
明かした
Ho-Oh, or the phoenix, is a legendary sacred bird in Chinese mythology and is considered the most auspicious bird in Chinese culture. It is said that the phoenix drinks only the water of sacred springs, feeds exclusively on bamboo seeds that bear fruit only once every 60 to 120 years, and perches only on the Chinese parasol tree. The phoenix's eggs are believed to grant immortality and longevity.
おー
A monster or object of worship that is said to have created mountains, rivers, and lakes. According to legend, Japan's largest lake, Lake Biwa, was formed when water filled the hole he dug while creating Mount Fuji. Lake Hamana was formed where he placed his hand, and Lake Ashi in Hakone was created as a footprint when he stood up. People call it Daidarabachi.
大だらぼっち
In ancient Chinese culture, there is a legend that a carp transforms into a dragon after successfully swimming up a waterfall. The Japanese dragon is a fusion of the indigenous belief of revering nature as gods and Chinese patterns and dragons. In Japan, dragons are considered gods of rivers and water. As a side note, the carp's climb up the waterfall symbolizes striving for greater heights and achieving success. In the world of the Yakuza, tattoos featuring this design are favored as a way to invoke a wish for personal growth and accomplishment.
竜
In Japanese mythology, there is a raging dragon with 8 heads and a single tail. While dragons themselves are gods of water and rivers, as mentioned earlier, the 8 heads symbolize multiple rivers, and the dragon's violent rampage represents the frequent flooding that occurred in those rivers. This dragon is often depicted as a powerful and uncontrollable force of nature.
ヤマタノオロチ
The Garuda from Indian mythology was transmitted to Japan and transformed into this form. In Japanese esoteric Buddhism, Garuda is called Karura in a local variation. Outside of esoteric Buddhism, it frequently appears in children's stories and folklore. The mountain god Tengu introduced Yokai Part 1, originally referred to Crow Tengu. Over time, however, the image evolved, with the Tengu becoming a figure with a red face and a high nose, while the Crow Tengu came to be seen as a servant of the Tengu.
カラステング
This time, we will introduce yokai that are considered to be close to gods and of high status. The Tengu introduced in Yokai Part 1, as well as, in some cases, Yukiana, Kappa, and Oni, also fall into this category. A sacred beast introduced from China, the Kirin has a body length of 5 meters. Its nature is extremely gentle and kind, to the point that it abhors killing so much that it fears even stepping on insects or plants beneath its feet. Considered a divine and mythical creature, It cannot be caught using traps meant for animals. It is regarded as an ill omen to injure a Kirin or to come across its corpse. According to the Book of Rites, the Kirin is classified as auspicious beast that appears when a king governs with benevolence. A major Japanese beer manufacturer has adopted Kirin as its logo. This sacred beast's name is Kirin, but the animal giraffe is also pronounced Kirin in Japanese.
キリン、
Baku is another sacred beast introduced from China. In Japan, it is believed that Baku eats nightmares. In China, there is no depiction of Baku consuming nightmares, but it is said that using Baku fur for cushions or bedding can ward off illness and misfortune. There was also a custom of painting images of Baku to dispel evil spirits, and during the Tang dynasty, Baku were depicted on folding screens. As these legends of warding off evil spread to Japan, they came to be interpreted as eating nightmares. Images and writings of Baku were used as lucky charms. To have a good first dream of the new year, people would place a picture of a treasure ship under their pillow. If they had a bad dream, it was believed that Baku would eat it, so the character for Baku was sometimes written on the ship's sail. During the Edo period, talismans depicting Baku became popular as lucky charms, and Baku illustrations were painted on box pillows. There were even pillows made in the shape of Baku, called Baku pillows. In Japan, the animal tapir is also called Baku.
バク、
Karjishi, or Chinese lions, were originally based on Indian lions that served as guardians of Buddha's clan. As they were introduced to China, they became increasingly stylized in art and decoration. Since ancient times, lions have been regarded as the kings of all beasts and as auspicious creatures, often depicted in a majestic and powerful manner. According to legend, lions are afflicted by parasites called the worms within a lion's body, which burrow into their flesh and eventually cause their death. However, these parasites die when exposed to the morning dew that drips from peony flowers. Because of this, lions are said to rest under peony flowers at night. This story led to the frequent pairing of lions and peonies in paintings and other forms of art. Additionally, the Chinese lion is considered the king of beasts, while the peony is known as the king of flowers. This combination reinforced their symbolic meaning of good fortune, making the lion and peony motif a popular design, including as a favored tattoo choice among the Yakuza.
から獅子、
Koma Inu are often placed in pairs at the entrance of shrines and temples, positioned on either side of the main hall or directly facing worshippers. They may be arranged facing each other or with their backs to the shrine or temple they are protecting. The previously mentioned Chinese lion, Tajishi, was introduced from China, while Koma Inu, written in kanji as Korean dog, is believed to have entered Japan via the Korean peninsula. This suggests that the concept of guardian lions was transmitted from China through Korea before evolving into Koma Inu. At shrines and temples, most divine guardian statues take the form of either foxes or Koma Inu. One theory traces the lineage of these guardian beasts back to the Egyptian Sphinx, which became the Shirtle in Iran, the lion capital of Ashoka in India, the Myanmar lion Chint in Myanmar, the Thai lion Xing in Thai, the Chinese lion in China, and eventually the Koma Inu in Korea and Japan.
狛犬、
Okami, or wolves, are now extinct in Japan, but wolf worship still exists in some regions. Wolves were revered for hunting boars and deer that would otherwise damage crops, protecting farmlands. As a result, wolf worship emerged, particularly in the Kanto region, where wolves were enshrined as deities.
狼、
Shirohebi, or white snakes, have also been objects of worship. In ancient Japan, wealth was symbolized by rice and other grains. Grain storehouses attracted mice, which would consume and spoil the stored crops. However, the Japanese rat snake often lived in these storehouses, preying on the mice and thus protecting the grain. Because of this, it was regarded as a beneficial creature and became associated with deities of wealth and prosperity. Among them, white snakes, with their rare and beautiful appearance, became particularly revered in certain regions.
白蛇
The divine monkey, or Shin-en, is a symbol of protection against evil and is believed to be a creature that demons fear. Although monkeys inhabit various regions across Japan, they have long been associated with Hiyoshi Taisha, where they are revered as sacred animals that ward off misfortune. The word masaru is linked to the meanings to dispel evil and to excel, making monkeys highly auspicious as divine messengers.
猿
The above are representative sacred beasts and their attendants. Sacred beasts that are close to the gods, almost equivalent to or following in rank to these beings, are yokai in a broad sense. Since attendants possess special abilities not found in ordinary animals, they fall under the broad category of yokai. The fox introduced in Yokai Part 1 is also considered an attendant, and in some cases, raccoons are included in this category. From here on, we will discuss animals that were once thought to be yokai, but are not actually attendants. Their rank is equivalent to that of ordinary yokai. Hiri, which resemble an enlarged version of monkeys, are said to be what old monkeys turn into. They live in the mountains, possess immense strength, and are believed to often abduct human women. According to Kunio Yanagida's book Yokai Danji, Hiri are fierce, but when they see humans, they laugh loudly, causing their lips to roll up and cover their eyes. It is said that if you make the Hiri laugh and then drive a nail through its forehead when its lips cover its eyes, you can capture it. The name Hiri is thought to derive from this distinctive laugh. The book also mentions that in 1683 in Akigo Province, present-day Niigata Prefecture, and in 1714 in Izu, Hiri were actually captured. The former measured for feet 8 inches in length, while the latter was 7 feet 8 inches long. Originally a Chinese yokai, in the Edo period Encyclopedia Waken Sansai Zoo, it is stated that this creature lives in the southwestern part of China. Citing Ben Kaogang Mu, it is described as being over about 3 meters tall, covered in black fur, and attacking and eating humans. It is also said to be able to speak human language and predict human life and death. There is even specific information stating that its long hair can be used to make wigs. It is said to be highly intelligent, able to converse with humans and read their minds. Its blood is said to be used as a scarlet dye, and if clothing is dyed with this blood, it will never fade. Additionally, it is said that if a person drinks this blood, they gain the ability to see demons. During the Sengoku period, the warlord Iwami Shigetaro, also known for having slain this monster. In recent years, Americans, zoologist Edward S. Morse, upon discovering the Omori Shell Mound in Tokyo, found large primate-like bones. Upon investigating if there were any old Japanese records about large monkeys, he came across the legends of Heihe and concluded that the bones might belong to a Heihe. Incidentally, in Japan, the term Heihe generally refers to baboons.
ヒヒ
The otter, now extinct, was once found in various regions of Japan just a few decades ago. In East Asia, like the fox and raccoon, many legends exist about the otter tricking humans. Because otters move freely underwater and skillfully catch fish, many stories compare them to fishermen. The kanji kawaso means a beast that relies on the heavens, and the otter's habit of lining up captured fish was believed to be a form of worship to the earth and ancestors. This behavior of lining fish on land is referred to as dasaigyo, derived from a description in the Liji, records of rites, that likens it to honoring ancestors. The term came to represent the act of spreading out many books for reference or investigation when writing or composing. The Japanese name kawaso is thought to be a corrupted form of kawaso, meaning a fearsome animal living in the river. In Kaga, present-day Ishikawa Prefecture, there is a terrifying tale of an otter living in the castle moat that transformed into a woman and killed a man who approached. In the Edo period, stories of otter-related supernatural phenomena were told in ghost tales, essays, and narratives. In the Tsugaru region of Aomori Prefecture, it was said that otters could possess humans. Those who were possessed by an otter were believed to lose their energy and become weak and lethargic.
カワウソ
The marten, in the Iiga region of Mie Prefecture, which is a sacred place for ninjas, is associated with the saying, foxes can transform 7 times, raccoon dogs 8 times, and the marten 9 times, suggesting that the marten has the ability to transform even more than foxes and raccoons. In Akita and Ishikawa prefectures, it is considered bad luck if a marten crosses your path. A similar belief exists about weasels, while in Hiroshima Prefecture, it is said that killing a marten leads to misfortune by fire. In Fukushima Prefecture, martens are called by various names such as Heiko, Fuchikari, Komono, and Haya, and are believed to be the reincarnation of people who died in avalanches. In the Yokai illustration collection called Ga-zu Hyaki Yago by Toriyama Sekien, there is a picture titled Weasel, but the kanji reading is ten, not Itachi. This suggests that a weasel, after living for several hundred years, becomes a marten yokai with magical powers. In the illustration, several martens are shown entangled in a ladder formation, creating a column of fire. It was feared that when martens appeared in this entangled form near a house, the house would be struck by fire. The marten is also sometimes cited as the true form of the thunder beast, which is said to have inspired Pikachu.
ピカチュウ天
In Japan, it was traditionally believed that earthquakes were caused by a giant catfish living underground that would thrash about. At Kashima Shrine, a stone called the Kanami Ishi was believed to act as a weight pressing down on the catfish deep underground, preventing it from moving easily and thus maintaining peace. During the Edo period, namazue, talisman-like illustrations depicting catfish, became widely popular as a means of praying for protection against earthquake damage caused by the creature.
ナマズ
Also known as kuragitsune, it was said that Yamabushi carried them in bamboo tubes, using sorcery to control them. They could be made to possess people, causing illness, or be used for espionage. Izuna Gongen, the deity worshipped by the ascetic monks of Mount Izuna in Nagano Prefecture, takes the form of a crow Tengu, and its messenger is this Izuna. The famous Sengoku period warlord Wasugi Kenshin had Izuna Gongen depicted on his helmet.
砕きつね
Izo translates to shore, and nada means to stroke in English. This creature resembles a shark in appearance, but its tail fin is covered in countless small, grater-like barbs. It is said to appear when strong north winds blow, attacking passing ships near the coast. It approaches stealthily, as if stroking the sea's surface, revealing itself only when it is about to strike. Using the barbs on its tail fin, it hooks its victims, dragging them into the sea and devouring them. In Kumano City, Mi Prefecture, when a dead body was found near the shore, people would say, it must have been stroked by Isonade. Yokai researcher Katsumi Tada theorized that the legend of Isonade have originated around the Muromachi period, when Japan began trading with China and Southeast Asia. He speculated that Japanese people who ventured into Southeast Asia encountered saltwater crocodiles, and that the ridges running from the back to the tail of these crocodiles influenced descriptions of Izanade tail barbs. Incidentally, saltwater crocodiles have been found in Japan multiple times in the past, likely having drifted over from places like the Philippines via ocean currents. Perhaps Isonade is none other than the saltwater crocodile itself.
Isonade.
Long ago, a man fishing in the deep mountains of Japan encountered a massive creature. When he returned to his village and recounted the story, some speculated it was a mountain shark, while others suggested it was a yokai called hanzaki, a term derived from hanbin saku, meaning split in half, as it was believed the creature could survive even if cut in two. The true identity of hanzaki is the giant salamander, the largest amphibian in the world, growing up to about 150 centimeters in length. In those days, without field guides or zoological references, a massive creature crossing a mountain stream might have appeared to be nothing less than a yokai or a monster.
Hanzaki.
Thank you for watching the video until the end. What kind of monsters exist in your country? We would be happy if you could tell us in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Japan B provides lesser-known information about Japan.